They were not born as monsters. They were not shaped by darkness. And they were never meant to become legends of terror. Yet their faces could turn living flesh into cold stone. Their gaze could freeze armies, and their names would be whispered for thousands of years in fear. 3 sisters stood at the edge of the world, where the sea met the shadows of forgotten gods. 1 was mortal, 2 were immortal, and all were cursed by a crime they did not choose. This is not the story of a hero. This is not the tale of a monster. This is the tragedy of the Gorgons, the Sisters of Stone, and eternal curse. Long before the world learned to fear the Gorgons, there were 3 sisters born to the ancient sea gods, Stheno, Euryale, and Medusa. They lived at the far edge of the known world, where the waves crashed against black cliffs and the sky burned red at sunset. Stheno and Euryale were immortal, their blood divine, their voices said to echo like storms over the ocean. Medusa was different. She was mortal, but she was also the most beautiful of the 3. Her hair shone like woven gold in the sun. Her eyes reflected the calm of deep waters, and her presence drew the attention of gods and men alike. Together, the sisters were guardians of their island, servants of ancient powers and keepers of forgotten temples. Medusa, especially, served in the temple of Athena, the goddess of wisdom and war. She was sworn to purity, her beauty offered not to men, but to the goddess she worshipped. For a time, the world was peaceful, and the sisters lived as protectors, not predators. But the gods were never distant from desire. One night, as storms gathered over the sea, the god Poseidon rose from the waves. His eyes were like rolling tides, his voice like thunder beneath the water. He saw Medusa inside Athena's sacred temple, and desire overtook reverence. What happened within those walls was never sung as a love story. It was an act of power, of dominance, of a god taking what a mortal could not refuse. The sea god defiled Athena's sanctuary, and Medusa's vow was broken by force she could not escape. When Athena discovered what had happened, her fury burned brighter than her wisdom. But she did not punish Poseidon. She punished Medusa. The mortal girl, who could not fight a god, was made into a warning. Her golden hair twisted into living serpents, hissing with venom and hatred. Her beautiful eyes became weapons, and turning all who looked upon her into lifeless stone. Her skin hardened like marble, and her voice echoed with terror. The curse was not meant to protect her, it was meant to isolate her. Driven from the temple, Medusa fled to the edge of the world to join her sisters once more. But she did not return as a sister. She returned as a monster. Stheno and Euryale did not abandon her. They wrapped their immortal wings around Medusa, hid her within caverns of shadow and salt, and stood between her and the world. Together, they became the Gorgons. Travelers who wandered too close never returned. Warriors seeking glory found only silence. Statues filled the valley around their lair. Soldiers frozen mid-strike. Thieves caught in flight. Hunters locked in terror. Over time, stories spread. Some said the Gorgons were born from chaos. Others claimed they were demons sent to punish mankind. But few remembered they had once been guardians. The curse twisted not only Medusa's body, but her soul. She could no longer see her own reflection without horror. She could not touch her sisters without fear. Every snake upon her head was a living reminder of the night her fate was stolen. And still, the gods were not finished with her. King Polydectes desired a gift impossible to refuse, the head of a Gorgon. So he sent Perseus, son of Zeus, to bring him Medusa's head. It was not courage that guided Perseus, it was manipulation. But the gods favored him. Athena gave him a shield polished like a mirror. Hermes gave him winged sandals. Hades lent him a helm of invisibility. And the nymphs gifted him a blade sharp enough to cut through fate itself. Perseus flew across seas and storms until he reached the land of stone statues. There he saw the sisters sleeping, coiled among the remains of men. Stheno and Euryale could not be killed. Their immortality protected them. But Medusa could die. Perseus did not look directly at her. He used the reflection of Athena's shield to guide his blade. As Medusa slept, dreaming perhaps of the girl she once was, the sword fell. Her head was severed in silence. From her blood rose two beings, Pegasus, the winged horse, and Chrysaor, the golden warrior. Even in death, she created life. Her sisters awoke in terror and rage. They screamed so loudly, the sky itself trembled. But Perseus vanished, hidden by the helm of darkness, leaving immortal grief behind. Stheno and Euryale chased him across the sky, their cries echoing through eternity. But they could not reclaim their sister. Medusa's head, still alive with power, became a weapon. Perseus turned enemies to stone, monsters to statues, and kings to silent monuments. Even Athena placed the Gorgon's face upon her shield, not as honor, as warning. The Gorgons did not fade into myth. They became symbols. To some, Medusa was a monster defeated by a hero. To others, she was a victim turned into a beast by divine injustice. Her gaze became fear itself. Her snakes became rage and survival. Her stone curse became memory frozen in time. In later ages, her image was carved on temples, painted on shields, and etched into walls, not to celebrate her death, but to ward off evil. The monster became a guardian once more, and her sisters, still immortal, were said to roam the farthest seas, forever searching for the head that was taken from them. The story of the Gorgons is not only a tale of terror, it is a tale of punishment without justice, of beauty turned into exile, and of gods who never answered for their crimes. Medusa did not choose her curse. She did not seek power. She did not hunt heroes. She survived a god and paid for it with her humanity. And so, when you hear her name, do not think only of stone. Think of the girl who once prayed in a temple. Think of the sisters who never abandoned her. Think of the gaze that turned fear back upon the world. Because some monsters are not born, they are made, and some curses do not come from darkness. They come from the gods.